Hello, this is Jaren from Vista Solutions, and today I will provide you with a demo of OpenERP manufacturing implementation. This video is for those who missed our recent webinar. This video is divided into two sections, configuration and the process flow. To begin with, we will start with an example. We will manufacture a trolley three-wheeled. So let's see the configuration first, and we will see the process flow in our next video. I'm in OpenERP screen now. So the configuration part is subdivided into multiple sections. First is category, in which we will see the valuation, setup of valuation account and the production account. Then the items, in which we will see the procurement method, minimum stock rules, and how to enable serialized items. Then we will see the manufacturing related configuration, that is costing on work center, routings, bill of materials, and operations. So let's start with categories first. For that, I will go to sales, go to configuration, items, item categories. The item categories are divided into consumables, raw materials, subassemblies, and item for sale. So we will see how valuation accounts and production accounts are configured in these categories. So the parent category here is 001 to 009 consumables, 100 to 199 raw materials, 500 to 599 subassemblies, and 900 to 999 items for sale. And all the other categories are the children of the belonging parent categories. So let's see the configuration for the parent category, which is 900 to 999 items for sale. Here the valuation account is defined in stock valuation account section, where it allows you to enable real-time inventory valuation. This account will hold the current value of the product. And then we have the stock input account. When doing a real-time inventory valuation, counterpart journal items against the valuation account will be held in this account. And since this is a sellable item which involves in-house production, the production cost account is enabled, and the setup cost, running labor cost, teardown cost, indirect labor cost, variable overhead cost, fixed overhead cost, amortization cost, which overall comprises the cost of goods sold, are tracked in their respective accounts. So when the real-time inventory evaluation is enabled on a product, these accounts will hold the current respective cost of the products. At the bottom you can see the income and expense account defined, and since it is a sellable product, it will provide you the value for the outgoing stock for the current category. So this was the item categories for the sellable products, and now we will have a look at the subassembly category, which is 500 to 599. Let me just open this. Here you can see the inventory valuation is real-time automated. That means real-time inventory valuation is enabled, and the stock valuation account here is inventory subassembly materials, which will hold the current value of the product, and the counterpart entries will be tracked in stock input account and stock output account. The production cost account is enabled because this is a subassembly, which again is an in-house production material, and this is the setup cost. In the production cost properties, you can see where the cost will be tracked for setup labor cost, running labor cost, teardown labor cost, indirect labor cost, variable overhead cost, fixed overhead cost, and amortization cost. So the production cost accounts are tracked in manufacturing journal, and the inventory related accounts are tracked in stock journal. So this was about subassembly. Next we will have a look at the raw materials category. The raw materials, for the raw materials, the inventory valuation is real-time enabled. That is, we will be tracking of the stock movement, and this account will hold the current value of the product. And the stock input account and stock output account will hold the counterpart entries against the stock valuation account. and below you can see the income account and expense account specified. So for the raw materials, the expense account defined is expenses. So this will be the value for the current product category using the cost price. So this is how the valuation accounts are and production accounts are configured for the categories. Now we will have a look at the items belonging to these respective categories. In the items, let's have a look at the second category, which is 100 to 199 raw materials. In this you can see there are 7 items belonging to this class, and you can see the class numbers and the item number together, they compose the part number. And see class description along with the item descriptions and the real stock, that is on hand stock available, along with the standard cost, which is the cost price for these raw materials. Let me open one of the raw materials here. So it has a class item which together compose the OpenERP part number, which is 1060001, along with the class item description, which is entered by the operator M10 square knot. And then in the procurement section, you can see the item type, which is set to stockable product. It has two options: stockable, consumable, service. So for service items, it needs to be set as service. For consumable items, which for which the stock is not maintained, can be set as consumable, and for which the stock is maintained, we can set the item type as stockable product. Then there's a procurement method, how we are going to procure this is decided by the supply method. It can be procured by either manufacturing this or you purchasing it from a third party against a supplier. And below you can see two check boxes. First one says WIP, second one says subcontractor. The WIP checkbox is checked if this item is an intermediate item produced in a work order operation, and subcontractor is checked if this item is being produced at the subcontracting location, if it is manufactured by a third party. And at the bottom you can see under the lot section there is a checkbox for unique production number. This is enabled if you want to track this product right from the stage of purchasing to where it is consumed. And in the second tab, it has minimum stock rules defined, where the minimum quantity is set and the maximum quantity is set. In the information tab under procurement section, it is set to make to stock. That means if the stock is not available based on the minimum stock rules, it will create a purchase order or manufacturing order based on the supply method. If it is set to make to order, irrespective of the stock availability, it will always create a manufacturing order or purchase order based on the supply method. In the third tab, suppliers, we can define multiple suppliers against which this particular item will be purchased, and the purchase order will not be created for all the suppliers. It will choose the most feasible supplier and it will create the purchase order against that supplier. In the description tab, the operator can add any description which can be used as a reference to refer to this particular item. And the accounting configuration, it inherits from the category raw materials. So this was the configuration for the category raw materials. And then we can see the subassembly items. Let's select the subassemblies and hit search. Here we can see 3 items. Let's open one of the items. So since it is a sub-assembly, the change here is supply method. It is an in-house production, so it is set to produce. Procurement method is make to stock. That is like whenever stock is not available, it will create a manufacturing order, and the item type is set as stockable products. That means we will be keeping track of the stock and we will always have on-hand quantity available. Then at the bottom again, unique production number is not enabled. That means we are not going to track this product. And then in the procurement and location section, we have a minimum stock rule defined. That is, Minimum quantity is 1, maximum quantity is 500. So if the stock falls below 1 quantity, it will raise the manufacturing order for 500 quantities. Then we have suppliers. Suppliers are not required because it is an in-house production. Then again, description. In the description, user can enter any kind of description which can be used as a reference. Like wheel housing must have a BOM defined comprising all the components. This is a subassembly used to manufacture the trolley. And the accounting properties, it will inherit from the category subassembly. So this was the configuration for the subassembly items. Next we will see the configuration for items that belongs to category items for sale. In this we can see there is just one item, and this item is a sellable item. So you go to information here. In the procurement section, you can see item type is stockable. We will always have on hand stock. Then we have the procurement method. It is set to make to order. That means whenever there is a requirement for this product, it will always create a manufacturing order irrespective of the stock availability. Then we have a supply method. What is the means for procuring this product? We are going to manufacture it. So it is set to produce. At the bottom, you can see under lot section, it is enabled as unique production number. That is, we are going to keep track of this product right from the time it is manufactured to the time of its delivery. Then in procurement and location type, we will define the default location, procurement location, production location, and inventory location. There is no need of suppliers because this is an in-house production. Then description, as I said, can be entered by the user. Then accounting properties, it will inherit from the category level. So these were the configuration for the items. Now we will move on to the manufacturing configuration. So for that, let's go to the business app manufacturing, and here let's open first the work center. Work centers are basically machines or human on which the operations are performed. So we have four work centers here, namely wood shop, subassembly, assembly, QC testing. Each are located at a particular location. They can be located at same location, depends on the requirement, and all these work centers have a unique code. It is system generated, or it can be entered manually. So let's open one of the work centers and see the cost associated with the particular work center. Here you can see the setup cost set here: running labor cost, indirect labor cost, tear down cost, fixed overhead cost, variable overhead cost. So these are the costs required to run this work center. So likewise, these costs are defined for all the work centers. These costs are based on per hour basis. That is, setup labor cost for this work center. Setup labor cost per hour for this work center is 14.05. So likewise, the cost is defined for the other three work centers. Next, we will move on to bill of materials, manufacturing, master data, bill of materials. Here we have four bill of materials. The first one is the finished product, and the remaining three are the sub-assemblies. Let's open the bill of material for the finished product. So in the bill of material of finished product, you can see the item name, part number, this is unique, and the class description, which is finished trolley. Then a reference can be entered. It is a free text field where user can enter a reference, enter text for reference, and here's the item quantity for which the bill of material is defined. And below you can see the sub-assemblies which act as component which get consumed in the process of manufacturing this product, trolley 3 wheat. So there is a routing associated with this bill of material. Let's open this. Routing comprises of all the operations that the components needs to go through to produce this product, trolley 3 wheel. So the operations here are varnishing, assembly, and QC. Each of these operations are performed on a particular work center. Each work center is located at the same location or a different location. So there is time associated with each of these operations, that is the time required to perform these operation. This time is divided into three times. So setup time, runtime, and add-on time. Setup time is the time before production, runtime is the time for production, and add-on time is the time after production, which is the downtime of the work center. So likewise, the timings are defined for the rest of the two operations. Let's go back to the bill of material again. Here, the next thing we will have a look at is the cost structure. The cost structure is divided into two sections: rolled up cost structure and BOM cost structure. Rolled up cost structure involves the cost of the subassemblies. So it is the sum of the it is the sum of the subassemblies cost along with the individual cost. BOM cost structure does not involve the BOM cost structure does not involve the subassembly cost. It just involves the individual cost. So here you will see that the BOM overall cost is less than the cost of goods sold. So the cost is calculated based on the timing that is defined on the operation with the and the cost that is defined on the work centers. So the cost calculated here are setup cost, indirect cost, amortization, running labor cost, fixed overhead cost, add-on cost, variable overhead cost, and material cost. All these together comprises the cost of goods sold, which is 262.2018. So there is a button on the right hand side of the screen which says compute standard price. When you hit this button, it will update the item master with the cost of goods sold, which is calculated here. So let's go to items and verify this cost. So the identifier for that item is 900 to 0001 and the cost is 262.20. So let's go to items, look for that item 900, 0001. Here you can see the standard cost is 262.20, which is same as the cost of goods sold calculated in bill of materials. So let's go to the bill of materials screen again, open the same bill of material. So there's a shortcut to view the operations involved. You can see the operations here, all the three operations: varnishing, assembly, and QC, and the work centers involved, and the operation location. And cost structure we have already seen. And on the right hand side there is a button which says bill of materials structure. When you click on this, it will show you the hierarchy of the bill of material, multi-level bill of material, where you can see the final product along with their respective cost, and then the sub-assemblies and the raw materials consumed to manufacture the sub-assemblies. So this was about the manufacturing configuration. We have seen the configuration for categories on which the valuation accounts are set and the production accounts are set. We have seen the items in which we have seen the procurement section, then the minimum stock rule section, and the serialization section. And we have seen the costing that is defined on the work center, and we also saw the cost structure that is calculated on the bill of material screen, along with the routing associated with the bill of material and the operations involved in those routings. So we are all set to process a sale order along with the manufacturing orders and work orders. So in our next video we will have a look at the flow